Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
What's up, everybody? This is John Bush from Armored Saint, and you are cranking it up on BODS Mayhem Hour. Turn it up.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather. And as always, I bring you guys awesome interviews. And today, me and Brittany, we have on the line Mr. John Bush from Armored Saint. We're going to be talking to him about their new album that's out right now. So, John, how's it going?
What's up, John? How are you, man?
Doing really excellent, brother. Glad to have you on here. And like I said, it's an honor to have you on here. And let's get right into this. You got a new album that's out. We're getting ready to come out called When Hands Down. This is your guys' 7th studio album. I want to quote you on this for saying, when we started work on this album, you said, let's pretend we are a really big band and can do whatever we want. How did this spark the work on When Hands Down for you guys?
Well, I think that was the mindset of going into the writing of it. We wanted to try to push ourselves as songwriters and musicians, singers, everything that, encompasses what a band does. And kind of have the mindset we could do whatever we wanted to do for the most part. We're pretty realistic about what we are. We're certainly under no illusion that we are a hard rock, heavy metal band. That's, our core, that's our roots. But I think that we are also willing to try to do different things, and we always have. From the beginning of our career, we've always were willing to do different things when it came to maybe writing slower songs, certainly a little more bluesier than the average heavy metal band sometimes. So, we are, we're willing to make those, kind of take those chances. And I think that was the mindset to continue that with When Hands Down, to really, to do whatever we wanted to do, whether it was to have a song with piano in the intro, or have an 8-minute epic, or, have a duet with female, which we did on this record with Pearl Day, different things, willing to just push the envelope.
What are your favorite tracks off the new album?
Well, that kind of changes all the time. I don't want to burn out on a record because I really love it, so I try not to listen to it that often. I don't want to be the ultimate narcissist and sit there and listen to my own music too much. I'm always fond of the song Muscle Memory. I love the title track. We're making a video tomorrow, as a matter of fact, for the song An Exercise in Debauchery. So maybe those are the three right now that are kind of at the top of my list.
John, any tracks left off this album that could be on a future album or EP, possibly?
We had one song that we never finished for it. We called it Taking for a Ride, and we were going to put it on the record, and at the end we kind of held it back. But, it might see the light of day one day, somehow, some way. I don't know when. Right now I'm not really thinking about any future projects. It's all about the here and now. So.
How was working with Pearl a Day on With a Head Full of Steam?
It was great. Pearl's awesome. She's super talented. She's a great singer. It was fun to do a duet with another person, let alone a woman, which is an idea that I had, and I wanted to do it. And I wanted it to be a rockin' kind of song. And maybe the first thing that comes to mind is something kind of ballady when you think of a duet between a guy and a girl. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted it to be with a full head of steam type of song, which is a quote myself. So it was great. She surpassed any kind of thoughts I may have had about what to do with it, and she belted it out and gave it the kick in the ass that it needed.
John, what do you hope the fans take away from the new album from you guys?
Well, I hope it's just a enjoyable listening pleasure. I want people to listen to this record, and I think there's some deep tracks on it that have some deep lyrical content, and hopefully they'll get something from it, get some inspiration, just enjoy listening to it. And certainly a record that would be embellished by listening to it on headphones, and songs that I think are classic Armored Saint that you'd want to sing to when you come see us perform live.
What's it mean to you guys? You guys have been around for 3 decades, but what's it mean to you guys when you're still considered one of the bands that keeping thrash metal alive today with the different styles that you bring to the table, man?
Well, I don't know if we're, number one is I don't know if we're that much of a thrash band. I mean, we certainly are a metal band. Live we are powerful, no doubt about it. We have a lot of energy. We always pride ourselves on having a lot of energy live. I think that we just, one of the things that I think we strive to do the most is just to have our own sound. Is to be the kind of thing that when you hear it, you automatically go, that's Armored Saint, you know it. And I think that's something that we set out to do from the very beginning when we were even 19 years old, is that we kind of wanted to have our own thing. It took time to figure that out, and it took time to probably develop it in a way that we can truly say, okay, you have your own sound. But I think that was probably one of the biggest goals of the band, is to just have a sound that was easily recognizable. And I think we did that. And I think that we made a record that, after all this time, it's not easy to be fresh, really, quite frankly, when you're 3 decades in. Sometimes people just kind of put out a record so they can go play live. We didn't do that. For us, we were seeking the highest quality of the record that we could, and we didn't want to make something that was just going to be, something that gives us an opportunity to play a few more shows. That wasn't the goal. We wanted to make a record that, possibly could rival any of our previous records and surpass it. So I think we did that.
John, how special was it for you guys to reunite back in '99?
Well, it was fun. I was in Anthrax at that time. I joined in '93, and I was still a member of the band, and we still, went on to make a few more records, 2 more records after that, but with Anthrax, which I'm proud of. I'm proud of all the music I made in Anthrax. But, there's always going to be a camaraderie and family feeling in Armored Saint. Our friendship, Joey Gonzo and myself and Phil, goes back to when we were like 9 years old, and we've known each other since like 3rd and 4th grade. So beyond the band, we've been friends for years. And, we're over like a 4-decade friendship here, which is pretty astonishing. So, and even Jeff, we used to play shows back in the early 80s with Odin, which was his band. I've known Jeff over 30 years now. So, I mean, we have a long history of friendship that I think is pretty much the core of the band. Doesn't mean it's always easy. It's like being married for a long time, although I'm extremely happily married. But, some people in bands aren't really too fond of one another. And, the only time that there might be any kind of communication is when they're actually on stage. And after that, there's none. And I've seen that before. But, we actually still are okay with one another, and we still enjoy each other's company. And so I think that says a lot, because it's not easy to do that after this length of time. So I'm proud of that.
I think it's great that Anthrax is still around, plus you guys are still around, because they're just not that many bands that are still around that still have that spark and feel for metal that both bands do, and frankly, it's scary.
Well, it is. It's cool. And there's, I think that we're lucky. I just bought tickets. Well, my wife did about a half an hour ago to go see AC/DC, and we're going to take my 8-year-old son. So
nice.
We're kind of reintroducing a whole new generation of people into music, and we're very lucky with that. So kind of being an older band, it used to be sometimes a little bit of a detriment, but I don't think it's that way anymore. I think being older, it actually works to your advantage, because you have the fans that are fans of yours, and then sometimes we're bringing their kids to the shows, which is great. So, do
you like the ways of recording these days, John, since it's digital, or do you prefer the old way of studio time and tracking vocals and instruments? What's your take on that?
I like both. I do. There's pluses and minuses with both, and certainly home recording gives you an opportunity to kind of work at your own pace, and certainly not spend thousands and thousands of dollars being in an elaborate studio. Although it was fun being in some of those studios, it just wasn't fun when you get the bill after and you go, wow, that was a lot of money. But, I think that we kind of, technology has enabled us to work kind of, in an environment where you have your own thing going. Joey has his own home studio. It's really, really cool. You can invest a lot of money and time in it. And we spent a lot of time working there. And it's we kind of work at our own pace, which is beautiful. But I don't want things to sound sterile, and sometimes, the modern technology, because it's easy to just kind of fly things in, it can become a little sterile, and you can hear that. And I think that certainly works against, most rock bands. We're not a flawless band by any means, and, I don't want flawless. Flawless to me is I don't like it. I'd rather hear some mistakes and just looseness, because I think that gives it life.
What does Armored Saint bring to the table for music?
Well, I don't know. I don't think of it that deeply because, it sounds like almost, pressure almost. I just think we do what we do. Like I said, we strive to have our own unique sound. I think we are sincere in the way we make music. I think like I said, you hear it, and I think it's a lot clearer that it is this band. And, I think that we write music that is maybe sometimes a little deeper than the average heavy metal band gets. And, we want to have fun. So, whatever positivity somebody gets out of it, I'm happy about that and feel fortunate.
What was it for you that made you want to be a musician, and what was the spark?
I don't know. Maybe just being exposed to music when I was super young. I had an older brother who played Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin to me when I was like 8 years old, and he was cranking the first Black Sabbath record. I think he was just trying to scare me, actually, but more than anything. But it definitely resonated with me. Listening to Led Zeppelin Anthrax, was exciting. And then we started going to see, my first show ever was Kiss at Anaheim Stadium, and it was amazing. And then I saw Queen right after that, and they were extremely inspiring to us. And Thin Lizzy, who we loved totally, one of the coolest rock bands and most underrated rock bands, played with Queen one tour. So things like that were a catalyst for just being really inspired by music. And I guess it just eventually made me go, I want to do this, and so I kept pursuing it.
It's crazy that Black Sabbath is finally doing their final end tour, and I think it's going to conclude next year, I believe.
Well, they say that. I hope they stay true to that. I am getting, I'm to the point where some of these farewell tours, people say they're going to do it, and then I hope they stick to it. Might include the same thing, I'm not saying I don't want to see these bands again, but if they are going to be, if they're truly a farewell, then make it farewell. Then walk away, and I hope they do. I saw Sabbath a couple of years ago at the Sports Arena here in LA, and they were amazing.
John, what's your favorite show or moment in being part of Armored Saint so far, man?
Well, let's just take the last show we did. We played a show in Belgium, a festival called the Anthrax Festival, and it was awesome. And, we really tore it up, and there was probably about 10 to 15,000 people there. And so since it's the most fresh thing in my mind, I'm going to say that one.
I know you guys...
So the long-term memory gets a little... Well, actually, long-term memory is pretty good. The short-term memory is a little shaky sometimes.
Yeah. What's it mean to you guys when you receive an email from a fan, or prior to a show or after a show, they come up and tell you guys, hey, your music has inspired them, or it's pulled them out of a dark hole? What's that mean to you, man?
Well, it means a lot. I would say that really, and it doesn't really matter how many people you touch, it's as long as you touch somebody. And when somebody can say that to me, and I can really feel they're being sincere and honest about it, I think that's the ultimate achievement. So I'm excited about that, and I think it gives you a reason to carry on. And I love that music can do that for people, because it does it for me too.
I got to say, I got to listen to this album thanks to George and your PR people there. Win Hands Down is great. Mess is really great, and an exercise into democracy. Man, yeah, you can't turn away from that. That intro and the guitar playing is just awesome, dude. You guys really did really awesome on this album, and Dive is just unbelievable. So good stuff, John.
Thanks, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you.
How can people stay in touch with you guys, buy your merch, and pick up the new album? How can they do that, John?
They could, we're playing some shows in America with Saxon. We're going back out and doing some dates with them next week. They can certainly go to the Armored Saint Facebook page. You could buy merchandise at Metal Blade, the Metal Blade Records site. You can pick up some merchandise there. So they can get all our records on iTunes. There's various ways that you can find Armored Saint.
And before I let you go, will you care to do a promo for the show?
No problem. What's up, everybody? This is John Bush from Armored Saint, and you are cranking it up on BODS Mayhem Hour. Turn it up.
Everybody stick around, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm John the Bod with
Brittany.
Well, thank each and every one of you guys out there for listening this evening. Thanks, John. Really appreciate it, dude.
See you, buddy.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.